Let's discuss this some more with Philippe Legrain, a former economic advisor to the President of the European Commission, now senior fellow here at the London School of Economics European Institute. Philippe Legrain, I mean, we heard Austria's Interior Minister, after the horrible news of that migrant truck, saying there's no point in just being shocked now, it's time for action. What sort of action seems sensible to you?
Well, clearly it's a terrible tragedy, and you're right to highlight that in your report. Well, short of allowing people to move freely, there are several things that the EU could do. One would be to process asylum claims in neighbouring countries to the EU so that people don't need to take these desperately unsafe journeys. And the second would be to open up safe legal means for people to come work here.
What would the financial implications be for trying to persuade countries outside the EU to become the host countries for the many people coming?
Well, the countries outside the EU already are the host. There are more refugees in Turkey than there are across the entire European Union, and indeed there are 1.2 million Syrians in tiny Lebanon, which has a population of 4.4 million. So actually the neighbouring countries already are bearing the brunt of the new arrivals. I think the important thing to say is that the new arrivals are not a burden. They're potentially an opportunity for Europe. Europe is an ageing continent with a shrinking working age population, and the newcomers can do jobs that need doing, pay taxes, help pay for the growing numbers of old people. So I think we need to change the narrative about this.
That's no small task, changing the narrative, turning immigration and the numbers, the increasing numbers, into an entirely positive prospect for the many people who have doubts about it.
Well, the numbers actually are relatively small. So far this year, 340,000 people have entered the EU without permission. That is 0.07% of the EU population. So they're concentrated in certain places, but actually overall it's relatively small. And certainly I think you can make a positive case about migrants contributing to the economy, and that's actually one of the reasons why Germany is more positive about this than others, because they have a rapidly shrinking population.
Germany, we heard very recently, is expecting 800,000 cases of asylum by the end of the year. If this keeps increasing at the rate it is increasing over the last year, I mean, to what point do you think it remains sustainable?
Well, I think it's unlikely that Germany is going to receive 800,000. So far this year, they've received 260,000, and many of those asylum claims will be rejected. I think the point of that that Germany was trying to make is that you need to be sharing out the asylum seekers more evenly across the EU, and that was the reason why they've kind of come up with this big projection. I think that Europe's population is large, the need is great, and we can welcome many more migrants to contribute to society.
Philippe Legrain, thank you very much.